Welcome back. Tomorrow is the first day of October, which also marks the launch of the first ever Maine Made Month celebration.
It's a new annual tradition honoring the makers who fuel our state's culture, economy, and identity. And you're invited to kick off the event coming up tomorrow night.
Here to tell us more is Kristen Vermeulen, founder of Makers of the USA. Good morning, Kristen. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This is so exciting. Can you start by telling us how the idea even came about for Maine Made Month?
Sure. So I'm obsessed with makers of all sorts across the nation, but I really love Maine. I live here and I've met so many great makers in our local economy. Actually, about over 99.2% of our local economy is all small businesses, which is crazy to me. So I realized, well, there's so many makers that do various different things, from food to metal to woodwork, and I wanted to bring it all together under umbrella. So Maine Makers Month was established as of beginning of September, proclaimed by Governor Janet Mills, and we're hosting a kickoff event. So we're really excited to have that in Portland, working with Maine Made, Maine Craft Association, and many other nonprofits that support makers across the state that actually already have events established this month, but it's really just bringing it all together. So I wanted to bring it under that umbrella. People go to my website and see what's going on.
How did you get the governor involved?
So I'm currently United States of America Miss Maine, and I was actually recognized at the State House for that title. And I was like, you know what, I really want to build more of a relationship with Governor Mills. Like, she knows my podcast, she knows what I've been doing. I had a conversation with her saying, hey, why don't we open up this celebratory event for every October to invite makers of all sorts to open up their doors to the public, to tourists, but then also have more maker-to-maker forums, because everybody has challenges in this industry, especially being made locally in Maine, but also in this nation. So it's a nice way just to bring those folks together in a forum. I want everyone to celebrate makers all year round, but I think October just makes sense.
Yeah, you know, we've heard of Small Business Saturday, things like that. Why do you feel like an entire month is so important to dedicate to Maine makers?
I think just recognizing all the current events that are happening. So Maine Craft Association does a Maine Craft Weekend, which is coming up this weekend, which is perfect timing. There's also the Garlic Festival. There's all sorts of festivals and fall festivals that are happening in October. So October just made sense for the entire month, not just one day. I want makers to be celebrating much more than just a day celebration or even a weekend celebration. Let's have it be all month long. So this event that I'm hosting tomorrow will allow for nonprofits and maker-focused experts to come and really just have a conversation and let me know what events are happening, so that way I can promote it to everyone.
Let's talk about what we could expect at the event.
Sure. So, of course, press is invited, high-profile makers, any type of maker really, startups, businesses, but it'll be held at the VIA Agency off Congress Street from 6 to 8. So it'll be a great highlight of just showcasing makers' products, makers of all sorts. We'll have live demos of pottery. We'll have Branded Brim Hat there to do some decorating of hats workshops. And we'll also have basket weaving by Agaski. She's based in Nigeria. So just so many great diverse makers that will be there. But also it's just a great way to celebrate. And I think this is a good kickoff, and many, many more Octobers to come to make this elevated even further.
And you are someone who definitely practices what you preach. We were just admiring your earrings that you're wearing,
yes.
And tell us about those.
They are made by a Wabanaki artist. I actually purchased them at the Maine Botanical Gardens. What a great gift shop, and Maine Makers promoted there. So I love this artist very much.
I feel like even just it can be a conversation piece, and if you support small businesses and local makers, someone might say something and then you can let them know that it's a locally made product.
Definitely. Even the dress I'm wearing, made by Roxy Sugar, the shoes made by Courier in Portland. So I feel like there's a lot of makers you can go and wear all the time, and I encourage that highly.
Why is it so important to have Maine makers and to really give them your business?
I feel like shopping local is so important. You're supporting your local community. You're giving back to a community, our local economy. And each of these makers and small business owners have their own stories. So it's not just the craft that they put like such hard work into. It's the actual stories that I love, so my podcast tells those stories. So this event and celebration, I want people to go into these studios and meet these makers and get to know them and ask them questions. Because ultimately, it is about purchasing the product, getting to know the product, but it's also about the person behind the product.
What have you heard from Maine makers lately? You know, how are they doing right now, just in this climate and in this time? You know, we've been talking a lot about tariffs and things like that. How are they doing right now?
I would say it's a bit of a challenge. A lot of folks still go and acquire raw materials from out of the country just because we don't have that necessarily and really established in the country, but it is in the works. There's a lot of companies like Origin that are doing fabulous jobs and, like, you know, kind of reviving the cotton industry in the Carolinas and making things from raw materials to clothing, which is fabulous. But there's still a lot to, you know, figure out and a lot of things that we need to focus on as a country, I believe, personally. But I would say those small businesses that go and acquire, you know, products that are outside of the U.S., it's very hard tariff-wise. And so people have had to work on, you know, their pricing structure and everything like that. So it's definitely a challenge, but I feel as though that there are resources that I hope to establish and work with others to make it better for our industry and the maker community.
You talk about your dress, your shoes, your earrings. Talk about the variety that we have about in Maine, the different Maine makers we have.
We have so many, from fashion to woodworking, so furniture makers. I know I have somebody coming that makes like the cooking rolling pins, like you flatten out the dough, make some pizzas, you know. But there's also basket weavers. Basket weaving is huge, just in the Wabanaki, you know, community, as well as those in Africa. And then also we have food. I mean, food here is phenomenal. We have locally sourced ingredients that go into catering companies. Like, there's a lot of sustainable brands out there that are looking for promotion. So at this kickoff event tomorrow night, you're gonna see every type of maker, and that's what it's all about. It's all makers. So there's so many of them. I can't even list all of them out.
And they're all so unique. Let everybody know when and where the event is happening tomorrow night.
Sure. It is at the VIA Agency off Congress Street from 6 to 8. And we are inviting everyone, so please come and join us. And we'll have a lot of goodies to share, and hopefully we'll have a lot more events to happen in future Octobers to come.
How can we hear your podcast too?
Makersoftheusa.com. I'm on every podcast channel. I have over 100 episodes to date, but that covers makers of all sorts across the country, and there are some phenomenal makers on my podcast.
Amazing. Kristen, congratulations on this month-long celebration, and it's a proclamation. It's officially going to happen every October.
Yes, it is.
All right.
And have fun on Thursday.
Thank you.